In the heart of the great whispering woods, where the trees stood tall and the rivers ran with silver fish, lived a wolf named Silas. Unlike the rest of his pack, who hunted only what they needed and gave thanks to the forest for its bounty, Silas was possessed by a hunger that no amount of meat could satisfy. He didn't just want to survive, he wanted to own the forest. He looked at every elk as his property and every berry bush as his personal treasure. Silas was a master of the hunt, but he was a slave to his own greed. Man's one winter morning, when the ground was white and the air was sharp, Silas found a massive stag trapped in a deep snowdrift. It was more meat than a single wolf could eat in a month. Any other wolf would have called the pack to share in the feast, ensuring that everyone survived the frost. But Silas stood over the stag and bared his teeth at the wind. "This is mine," he growled, his breath steaming in the cold. "I will not share a single scrap. I will keep it all, and I will never be hungry again." Maund. He spent his days guarding the carcass, snapping at any bird that tried to take a peck and growling at the foxes that lingered downwind. Because he was so focused on guarding what he already had, he stopped moving. He stopped running. He stopped being a wolf. He sat in the freezing snow, growing stiff and bitter, watching his treasure slowly freeze into a block of ice. Ben Dien. One evening, a starving elder wolf from the pack approached him. "Silas," the elder whispered, his ribs showing through his fur. "The pups are weak, and the winter is long. You have more than you can ever consume. Share just a small portion, and the forest will remember your kindness." Silas didn't even look up. "Kindness does not fill my belly," he snapped. "If I give you a piece, I have less, and I will never have less. Go away, old fool, before I make you my next meal." The elder wolf looked at him with pity. "He who grabs everything with both paws," the elder said, "soon finds he has no paws left to run with." And as the weeks passed, Silas's greed began to warp his mind. He became so paranoid that someone was stealing from him that he couldn't sleep. He grew thin and ragged, not because there was no food, but because his anxiety was eating him from the inside out. He had a mountain of meat, but he had lost his peace. He had a fortune, but he had no friends. He was the richest wolf in the woods and the most miserable creature alive. Then came the great thaw. The sun broke through the clouds, and the snow turned to rushing water. Silas's frozen stag, the prize he had guarded with his life, began to rot in the heat. It became useless, a foul-smelling reminder of his wasted winter. Silas stood in the mud, staring at the ruin of his greed. He had nothing left, no food, no strength, and no pack to return to. He had traded his life for a pile of ice that had melted away. Oh, the story of Silas teaches us that greed is a bottomless pit that exhausts the person who tries to fill it. Baying the illusion of ownership, we think that by holding on to things tightly, we are securing our future. In reality, the things we refuse to share eventually end up owning us. Gratitude is the only wealth. A man with a crust of bread and a thankful heart is richer than a king with a banquet and a greedy soul. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Lands the cost of more. Every time you choose greed over gratitude, you lose a piece of your freedom. Silas had the most food, but he was the only prisoner in the forest. Do not let your desire for more blind you to the beauty of what you already have. Happiness is not found in accumulation, but in the appreciation of the present moment.